Today I wanted to do something a little bit special. My wife dug up an old Minecraft server we used to play on. The server is almost exactly 3 years old, and at the time she was my girlfriend. So much has changed in our lives since then, and the amount of nostalgia that I get out of exploring this world is immense. I spawned in one of my buildings, so I decided to go over to the edge of our map so I could explore the whole thing one area at a time, starting with the very first house we ever built together. I've been thinking about nostalgia a lot recently, and that's what inspired me to make this video. Looking at all these little plots of farmland, this first house, the terrain, the world generation, all of the pathing we laid down, every little bit of it floods me with memories of the time we spent together building all of this. I think Minecraft gets teased a lot by people who play a lot of the other types of games that I play, like shooters and more competitive games. But it has a special place in the hearts of a lot of people, and it's a game that I'll probably be coming back to throughout my entire life because there's just nothing quite like it in terms of being able to build and explore and express yourself creatively. It's amazing, actually. You're spawning into a world with a random seed that no other human has ever seen before, and you get a chance to build something that no one else has ever built before. It's completely yours, and no one can take that away from you. It's funny, looking inside all of these chests, seeing random items that we shoved in there when our inventory space was too full, and all of the armor, all of the enchantments, all of the things we spent so much time on. It's all been sitting here for 3 years waiting for us. You know, building underground takes a lot of work in survival mode. I just think it's really cool to see an unassuming house above ground and have no idea how much actually lies underneath it. This is our first real storage room and crafting area. Of course, it's all kind of been gutted. Most of the things taken out of it as we've branched off and built other things. Of course, everyone's different, and everyone has different priorities for what they value in a relationship. But to me, finding someone who I can share this with, share my passion for gaming, and build something really cool inside of a video game with it's irreplaceable. It's not particularly fancy or anything, but this potion room is really awesome to me. I was getting a huge hit of nostalgia walking around here and remembering where I put the secret button, remembering everything that we built and hid behind the walls in this place. It's extremely satisfying watching that chest fill up. Going even deeper underground, it's really cool. It's like the more that I explore this place, the more that I remember. And sure, some people can build some really phenomenal stuff in this game, but I'm proud of every single corridor and every block placement, all the textures and layers of building that we did to create this place. It's funny building something like a vault with an iron door and a secret lever. You know that no one else will ever be on the server. There's no reason for any of it to be here. It just adds to this little world that we've created, builds the immersion that this is a real place. And as long as I live, I'll probably never forget where that lever is located. Every block in this room represents nights that we stayed up really late mining, collecting so many resources that obviously never ended up getting used. As you can tell, we also really enjoyed creating multiple ways to get in and out of our base. It felt like a bunch of secret routes that, even if we didn't use them that often, just makes everything feel more accessible and connected. The first of many unfinished rooms that maybe someday we'll come back to and do something with. I had a really hard time deciding which village I wanted to go to first, but ultimately I decided to check out my wife's village first. Having these rail carts is just another expression of interconnectivity that makes Minecraft and building villages together really special. Here you can see our map, some foreshadowing of what the areas are going to look like. And I'll say it again, all of this is bordering on emotional for both of us as we're revisiting all these old memories. Seeing this map just reminded us, again, how much work that we did. This is one of the first houses my wife built in her village, and one day it got struck by lightning and half of it burned down, and we had to rebuild it all together. You'll notice that she likes to keep the theme of building a lot of small areas of farmland and pumpkin patches and wheat fields placed all throughout her village. Part of that is definitely the villager update that was very new at the time that we were doing this, where villagers actually needed farming area to reproduce. We took the time to build these massive stairways into the mountainside, almost as if we were preparing for the minecart system to be down for maintenance one day. I really enjoy the way that my wife does pathing and builds these tall cobblestone walls all around her village. It goes a long way to make the whole place feel a lot more cozy and safe and like a real village that these villagers actually use. The iron golems everywhere, the villagers everywhere, all of the farm animals, and this whole civilization we built. I wonder what they've been doing the whole time that we've been gone. And that's a sentiment that I've seen a lot online recently in the gaming community, is people sharing this experience of never really knowing when it's going to be the last time that you play a world. You get those screenshots of someone's friend that they knew on Xbox 360 last online however many thousand days ago or years ago. And it's sad, you know. You truly do never plan on getting off of something like this for a long period of time. I just feel very lucky that we were actually able to come back to it and revisit it. There are certainly plenty of old worlds on Minecraft and Terraria and other games that have just been lost to time that I'll never see again. But that's okay, because even getting on this world, I have kind of a mixed, limited inspiration to actually keep playing it. Part of me does want to see through unfinished projects and continue on this world, but the other part of me craves having a blank slate to start with anew. I remember this mob spawner fondly because we were very lucky to find multiple mob spawners in a very close area, farming spiders and zombies at the same time. But I had completely forgotten that we had an entire additional enchantment room down here, again with another set of chests filled with so many items shoved in there at random times as we played. Moving deeper into the village, again we see this nice distribution of farmland, fencing, pathing, and water that I think really adds to the atmosphere of the village. Another secret drop-down trapdoor with some pink carpeting. This building here with the glass windows is one of the only things in her village that I built. It's an automatic cow harvester with a couple of different functionalities. This is one of the things that I enjoyed building the most on the server. There's nothing that complicated about it, but just using redstone and automation in the simple ways that you can in vanilla Minecraft is really cool to me. Of course, it's been a while since I've used it, so I was a bit silly to start feeding the cows preemptively when I should have hit the cow harvest button first so I didn't get a bunch of babies. Nonetheless, it's still nice to see them fall down into the kill area. This area here is pretty self-explanatory. It's a horse farm. But I think the skeleton horses and all the different colorations, saddles that we found naturally in the world, name tags that we put on the horses, I think it's all pretty cool. I think horses were a great addition to Minecraft. This wooden building here, I don't know why, it just always reminds me of the drive-in from Fallout 4. Just the way that it's like a skinny structure with a staircase leading up. The minecart up top actually leads to the village that we got all of our villagers from. It was pretty far away. I considered getting some Minecraft music MP3s and adding them onto the more empty sections of the video, but instead I'm just going to let the music that naturally played in the world kind of take over. Before we wrap up in my wife's old village, I just want to show you the underground system that she put in place. I hate to say it, but it was used quite a couple times to kick my ass in PvP and escape me and lead me all over the place as I'm trying to chase her down. And with that, we've seen most of what we need to see down here, so it's time to head up to my village and get this video wrapped up. Welcome to my village. It's kind of nether themed, if that wasn't obvious. I certainly spent a lot of time on it, and I wouldn't have traded that time for anything, since it was all time that I spent with my now wife, time that I really enjoyed, but I can't help but get the feeling that I could have been doing something a little bit more productive. By the way, I hope you don't mind the incessant villager noises that are happening. I had some kind of obsession with building these towers. I thought they looked cool, and it kind of became a joke, and that's why I ended up naming this one Non-Enchanter's Tower, to differentiate it from the Enchanter's Tower that doesn't look very different. I couldn't tell you why this wooden pillar is here. It was probably used to repair or finish the roof at some point. Just another artifact of something that happened years ago. Here we see an automated farm, another relic of my obsession with automating things. I'm not sure if it still works in the current version of Minecraft. It's just using the new villager farmers, which, as they automatically farm crops, that they get picked up by this minecart that goes back and forth underneath them. I remember as I was building this village, the day that it really all came together is when I started filling the ground with all of these nether materials and deep slate and black stone, instead of just having green grass everywhere. The difference that it made in creating the atmosphere of the village was like night and day. And of course, we have yet another enchanting room. This was sort of my central storage area. And I remember being inspired by Terraria when I built this area, because when I have a Terraria world, I really enjoy having an easy to access chest and crafting room near my spawn that you can just kind of walk in and out of without it being completely walled off with doors. Having it feel a little bit more open like this is kind of a juxtaposition to the underground enclosed storage space that we had in our starter home. We have another couple enchanters towers on the left. Some of the lampposts in the village are just always on, but this big one here is actually only on during nighttime because of a daylight sensor. This is the first structure that I built by myself after my wife and I kind of branched off and started building our own villages. I knew from the get-go that I was going with kind of a deep slate and spruce wood theme, but the nether theme emerged over time. The hum of a nether portal and the sound of lava bubbling is a lot more peaceful than the murmur of 25 villagers, I've gotta say. Nothing special about the rooftop, but it's pretty to look at the blue flames from the outside. I needed eggs. And as an American, we're taught that efficiency is sometimes more important than ethics or morality. So I feel deeply patriotic when I come and I visit my chicken farm. Moving on. It's obviously important that no one ever sees that, so that's why I created sort of a secret way back to my base. Looks like there was a fire up here at some point. Even though I built a lot of enchanters towers, I did try to make them all fairly unique. I'm just going to let the music play for the next minute, just to take a moment to breathe and soak in the world and the sounds of Minecraft. This iron golem farm might also not work in the current version of Minecraft. I had to stick around for a moment and just see if iron did continue to spawn from it. This is probably one of the single most practical things that I built in the entire server. As you can see, it generated massive amounts of iron and eliminated the need to worry about it at all during mining. Exploiting the systems of vanilla Minecraft to create something that was never intended to exist by the developers is truly special. Something in my boy brain just absolutely craves the construction of a castle. It's almost impossible to resist when I get to a certain point in a Minecraft world. So I'll conclude this tour of my old world with a quick walkthrough of the castle that I built. I really aimed to create something that you could sort of get lost in. It wasn't quite big enough for that purpose, but I wanted it to feel tight and cozy on the inside with plenty of corridors and different rooms with obvious uses to explore. This must have been one of the last things that I was building before we ended up getting off for 3 years. It's funny to think about. I never built any of this with the intention of anyone else seeing it. It was just for me and my girlfriend to play Minecraft together. But in a weird kind of way, this has to be the most effort, technically speaking, that I've ever put into a YouTube video. There probably is a time played stat, I'm almost certain of it, in Minecraft if you look. To be honest, I don't know if I want to see how many hours that we spent on this. I'll remind anyone not familiar with the game, if there is anyone here not familiar with the game, that all of this deep slate that you're seeing had to be mined out of the ground by hand, block by block, and then placed block by block. We see, again, the remnants of a fire that spread from the lava above, a small price to pay for a cool-looking tower. There's only a couple of areas left, and we've seen everything that we need to see, save for some interconnecting paths and things of that nature. Here we have the Grand Library. The utility of building those rooms, of course, is made a lot more practical by having different villagers that actually have different roles and that you can buy different things from. Every castle, of course, needs to be defensible, and so we have access to a rooftop here where we can overlook part of our village and perhaps shoot down some arrows at attacking forces. When you build something like this in Minecraft, you kind of have to weigh the size that you want to make it. I could have had more intricate corridors inside had I made the castle bigger, but any more scale and it would have been incredibly time consuming, even more so than it already was to build. And so that pretty much sums up our world. I tried something different with this video. I wanted it to be more relaxing, because Minecraft to me is relaxing. Because even though Minecraft can be stressful and intense at times, I play it for the relaxing nature of it, to be able to just sit down over the course of an afternoon and build something. 3 years isn't that long of a time, but as I said, so much has changed in me and my girlfriend, now wife's, lives since we built all of this. It certainly feels like it could have been a lifetime ago. And we've done the same thing on 7 Days to Die and Terraria and Valheim and other games. And if I still have any of those worlds, I might make similar videos in the future going through them. But I also want this to segue into a couple of higher effort videos that I have in mind about just kind of exploring nostalgia in gaming, as well as being creative and building in gaming. And revisiting this world and looking at it was kind of a first step for me to start planning out those different video ideas. Anyways, I'm sure that the experience that I got out of this was quite a bit more intense than someone just looking at it for the first time. It's just so bound up in memory for me, I can't help but be attached to it. But this has been Miniwin, dipping my toes into Minecraft. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, liking and subscribing would be monumentally helpful at this point in my channel's development. It's obviously needed. So that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching to the end of the video, and I'll see you in the next one.